Vikings this week on Sunday at 12 o'clock Central, they go to Seattle to play the Seattle Seahawks. This is a very tough matchup for the Minnesota Vikings, and this is going to really test our offense. This is going to really test our offense because now they can't revolve it around Dalvin Cook. Of course, the last 2 weeks, we saw a great Vikings offense. We saw a stacked Vikings offense, and that's because it revolved around Dalvin Cook. If you give Dalvin Cook over 20 yards a carry, over 20 carries a game, you have a great passing game. That's just how it's looked so far. You have Adam Thielen going over for 100 yards. Justin Jefferson now going over 100 yards. If Dalvin Cook can get those carries and also go for over 100 yards and get you 2 touchdowns a game, because that's exactly what he does. And then everybody has a good game when Dalvin Cook has a good game. This is going to really test our offense this week. This Seattle Seahawks team is going to really test our offense because we can't run all over this team. Of course, you can give Dalvin Cook about half of the plays still. You can still run about on half of your plays, but you can't get those big games. Those big yards. You can't see Dalvin Cook go for 20 yards. I would be surprised to see Dalvin Cook get over 10 yards on even one carry that he gets. I still think he will average about 3 yards a carry, nothing crazy, but Vikings have to give the ball in Kirk Cousins' hand this game. We saw it last year against the Seattle Seahawks. Seattle Seahawks, we don't beat them. We have played the Seattle Seahawks the last 2 years on Monday night. Away games. Do we ever play home against the Seattle Seahawks? I don't know. But Vikings have yet to beat the Seattle Seahawks. Russell Wilson. They have yet to beat Russell Wilson. They are on a 6-game losing streak against the Seattle Seahawks. So there is, I know I say best case scenario Vikings are going to go 0-16. No, best case scenario is the Vikings can go 5 wins, because I want to see them beat the Packers. I want to see them beat the Saints. I want to see them beat the Seattle Seahawks, because I haven't seen it yet. I don't remember the last time the Vikings have beat the Seahawks. They've never beat Russell Wilson. Now Russell Wilson right now is looking like his best season of his career, better than the 2 seasons where he won the Super Bowl. Russell Wilson is having a great season right now, and that's because Tyler Lockett has some drop passes. Not a great wide receiver if you ask me, but DK Metcalf is the best second-year wide receiver right now, and DK Metcalf is going to destroy our secondary. Tyler Lockett, I can't say the same for him. Of course, he's still having a great year because Russell Wilson is throwing to him, but he does have drop passes, and I just wouldn't rely on him. But DK Metcalf is going to destroy us because of how our secondary is, especially because he's this big receiver, and we can't stop that guy. I don't think we can. But anyways, we're going to see, this is going to really test our offense. Of course, it's going to test our defense. Our defense is probably going to give up at least 30 points this game, because every time the Vikings play a team that is a decent offense, you have to expect that they're going to give up 30 points against this team. But all the corners have to do is not get beat deep. All the corners have to do is keep space between their receivers and force short passes. Because what's going to destroy the Viking secondary is letting the team score in 2 plays. Is letting those big deep passes get on our secondary. That's going to destroy our team. And then right away, you're down 50 points is what's going to happen. All the corners have to do is keep space between them and the receivers. Let them get first downs. Force short passes. Vikings are great at converting on 3rd down. Outside of that, they can't do anything. We get beat deep on just about every game. All the Vikings corners have to do, keep space between them and the receivers and not get beat deep. Force shorter passes. Of course, Russell Wilson is probably one of the best deep throwers in the league, and DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett are both deep threats. If you force both Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf to both not be able to get plays on when going deep and force shorter passes, you could get lucky. Vikings could get lucky and win this game. That's the only way I see the Vikings winning the game. Also, not only that, but the Vikings have to get the ball in Kirk Cousins' hand, and he has to have a good game. It's Kirktober now. Kirk last year, 2019, in October, was the MVP and had a great month. MVP of the month. And now it is Kirktober again. So this is going to really put the ball in Kirk Cousins' hands, and he's going to have to prove himself this game. He's gonna have to prove himself again. We cannot do what we did against the Tennessee Titans. We can't do what we did against the Houston Texans. We have to put the ball in Kirk Cousins' hands. He had his bad game. He had his 2 bad games against the Packers and the Colts. He can't have another bad game. And that's the only way the Vikings will win. If they don't get beat deep, if they can force shorter passes, and if they put the ball in Kirk Cousins' hands and he can actually throw to his receivers, is the only way the Vikings will win. So, of course, Dalvin Cook is the best. He's the best running back in the league as of this season. Of course, overall, I wouldn't put him as the best running back in the league, but right now he is. Dalvin Cook has had an amazing start to this season. Let's look at it. Okay, so he leads the league in rushing yards. Yes, he leads the league in rushing yards, rushing touchdowns, and averages 5.7 yards a carry. 5.7. How is that even possible? When you look at that and you give him the ball 2 times and it'll get you a first down is how it looks. And then also Justin Jefferson, who right now is the best rookie wide receiver in the league with back-to-back 100-yard games after only starting 2 games in the NFL. He has the 8th most receiving yards in the NFL after only starting 2 games, with last week getting over 100 yards on just 4 targets. Or 4 catches. I don't know if it was 4 targets. It might have been 5, but still, on just four catches, he got over 100 yards. He leads the Minnesota Vikings in receiving yards and just 8th in the NFL after only starting 2 games in the NFL. That is wild. Justin Jefferson has had a great start to the season, and we're going to see him get a lot of targets this game. I think Justin Jefferson might get more targets than Adam Thielen this game. Now, of course, I think Adam Thielen is going to get more touchdowns because it's Adam Thielen, and that's what he does. But I think Justin Jefferson is going to get some big plays against this against this Seattle Seahawks defense. Now, the Seattle Seahawks still have players in the secondary. Of course, they do have Jamal Adams, and there is a lot of pieces that could mess us up. But then again, put the ball in Kirk Cousins' hand. It's going to depend on Kirk Cousins, the offensive line, and not getting beat deep is all they have to do. You still have to expect that Seattle Seahawks are going to score at least 30 points against your defense. So it's really going to come down to the offense. And Adam Thielen and Dalvin Cook get a lot of touchdowns every day. They have combined for 10 touchdowns right now. That's the most in the NFL amongst 2 players. They combined for 10 touchdowns. That is crazy. So, of course, you can't give Dalvin Cook over 20 carries this game. I don't see it happening. I don't see that happening at all. I think it's just, if you do, I think you're going to lose. I don't think Dalvin Cook can do this against the Seattle Seahawks defense, what he did against the last 2 teams. It's just not the same way. Yeah, they're dead last against the pass, so that's why you pass, and they're 3rd in the NFL against the run. I said that wrong. I wrote it down here wrong. So the Seattle Seahawks, that is the best team that you can pass against right now. And they are the worst team that you can run against. One of the worst team that you can run against. Anyways, they do still have Bobby Wagner. They have KJ Wright. They have Quandre Diggs. They have Jamal Adams. All pieces that can be on their secondary. Also, you can blitz them, get to the passer with all of those guys too. So you can't make big plays with Dalvin Cook. You can't. You might be able to get 3 yards a carry, but after that, Bobby Wagner, KJ Wright, Quandre Diggs, Jamal Adams, these guys are going to tackle him. These guys are some of the best players in the league. And it's going to really come down to how Gary Kubiak calls this game too. If Gary Kubiak can really play design against the Seattle Seahawks defense, I'm not very optimistic that that's going to happen. But if he can really trick these players, because these are veteran players that you are going against. If he can really trick these players, get them off balance, great by Gary Kubiak. Outside of that, Justin Jefferson's got to have a great game. Justin Jefferson has got to have a great game. We cannot rely on this O-line and quarterback, although I'm saying we have to. That's the reason why I don't think that they're going to win this game. Of course, I want my Minnesota Vikings to win the game. Now, of course, going forward, it's probably going to be better for us to lose the game, but I still have to give it to the Seattle Seahawks, 31-17. Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen combined for over 200 yards. I don't know if they're both going to be able to get 100-yard games again, but I think they will combine for over 200 yards. Cook will only rush for 80 yards this game. I don't think Dalvin Cook's going to have a great game. He will rush for 80 yards, but of course, he will get a touchdown. Dalvin Cook will get 1 or 2 touchdowns again. Not 3 yet. We haven't seen it yet. Adam Thielen will probably get a touchdown too. Anyways, no, because we would only have time to get 2 touchdowns. Anyways, I don't think Seattle Seahawks are going to be able to lose to this team. They would have to have a bad game. I think Kirk's going to have a great first half. I actually think that the Vikings at halftime might even be in the lead, but after that, I just feel like they're going to fall apart. That secondary, I can't rely on that secondary to cover for those receivers, especially when their quarterback is Russell Wilson, and I can't rely on Kirk Cousins and the offensive line to make big plays this game. But we're going to have to look. It's exciting to see. It's exciting to see. Although I don't think the Vikings will be able to win this game. It is an away game against the Seattle Seahawks. Vikings are on a 6-game losing streak against the Seattle Seahawks and have never lost to Russell Wilson. I do not think that they're going to be able to win. But it's going to be fun to watch. It's going to be fun to watch because we have to put it. The offense is totally different now. The offense is totally different from what we saw the last 2 weeks, where it's all in Kirk Cousins' hand. Of course, you have Dalvin Cook, one of the best running backs in the league, and you're going to give him a lot of carries. You can't give him the same amount of carries you gave him the last 2 games, which is why the offense looked as great as they did the last 2 games. You have to put it in Kirk's hand. This is a passing league, and you got to rely on a quarterback more than you rely on the running back, or else you're not going to go far in the playoffs. It just doesn't usually work like that. Anyways, let me know what y'all think. Do you think the Vikings will be able to win this game? I mean, it's going to be an interesting game to see. I just don't think anyone can actually legitimately think that the Vikings can actually stand against one of the best teams in the league right now from the way they look so far this season. Let me know what y'all think.